Alright, welcome back Walking Dead fans. We're back with another Walking Dead video. Probably a more positive video. I know I've been more negative on the whole Walking Dead universe recently, but there is some news that could be slightly positive, which is great. It's a breath of fresh air. Now, with that said, this doesn't mean I've changed my mind on the Walking Dead universe or that I'm super positive about it now, but we have to give credit where credit is due. We have to look at the glass half full side of things as well in some instances. With that said, let's jump right in it. Recently, when I broke down the news about Andrew Lincoln being in talks to return as Rick Grimes, I said we should probably keep expectations low, and honestly, I still stand by that. I didn't feel great about it. Not that it couldn't happen, but that even if it did, it might not be as good. But I also said I would be fair, and there's a new update I can't ignore without sounding hypocritical. Apparently, Scott Gimple has actually met with Andrew Lincoln in London. Last time they met in person was during The Ones Who Live, which was 2 years ago. So it seems like this is actually legit. So in-person discussion between them. It's not just another vague, yeah, conversations are happening kind of deal. They're literally talking face to face about the possibilities of Rick Grimes returning. Now that is a big difference. When they start meeting in person, it feels a bit more concrete. Obviously, nothing's confirmed yet, so take this with a grain of salt. They could be talking just about anything, so don't really think that it has to be connected to The Walking Dead. But all signs point to this being related to The Walking Dead, and more than that, being related to the Daryl Dixon series. It's for the 4th and final season. If I'm being realistic, maybe even a bit pessimistic, I would say at best we're probably getting a short cameo, like Rick popping up for a quick emotional moment at the end of the season, similar to what we got in The Ones Who Live finale with Judith and RJ. But if I want to be generous and give them the benefit of the doubt, which, let's be honest, they probably don't deserve at this point, but I'm giving it to them anyway. There is a chance that they're planning something a little bigger. Maybe it's not just a cameo. Maybe they're doing something similar to how they handled Carol in the Daryl Dixon spinoff, where she got her own little story arc in Daryl Dixon Book of Carol. So imagine this, instead of Book of Carol, we get Book of Rick. Rick joins Daryl for a short storyline in Europe, possibly even in the UK. This could be related to the Primrose team that everyone keeps talking about, the big thing that's still left up in the air, a storyline that still has loose ends, which is the only thing that at this point makes sense to do as a final big story for the universe. Now, the reason I say UK isn't random. Andrew Lincoln lives there, so it would make filming a lot easier for him. Remember, one of the biggest things about Andrew Lincoln leaving is he wanted to be with his family more. Now, the other part of it is they already shot a small section of the Daryl Dixon show in season 2 in the UK, and everyone said that it looked gorgeous, but it just felt rushed. So this would be a perfect way to expand on that and actually give us more of that atmosphere that everyone loved, that they mostly skipped over. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The icing on the cake, if you will. If they somehow bring back Morgan, that would be incredible. We still need that Rick and Morgan reunion. And if they don't do it now, I honestly don't see it ever happening. Or if it does, I don't see it really having the same impact. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think the Daryl and Morgan reunion with Rick should have happened in The Ones Who Live. But let's just put that aside. At this point, where we are, if they don't have Rick and Morgan reunite here and now, it would never work anymore. Morgan could easily make a small cameo though, maybe like Judith's cameo in The Ones Who Live. Now, how would all of this even work, story-wise? Well, that's the messy part. Rick being in Europe is a massive stretch. Saying the CRM somehow sent him there, kinda corny. Having him travel there on his own, even worse. We've seen that with Daryl and Carol already. The only thing that somewhat makes sense is this. Rick returns to the Commonwealth, learns something connected to Europe, maybe a lead that ties Daryl to Europe. He goes there on some sort of side mission. So the CRM is doing something in Europe and they send him. And then he goes there, not revealing that he's really interested in the Daryl stuff, not really the CRM stuff. So he's basically being partially rogue. And then when he gets there, he finds Daryl. They reconnect, handle whatever mission they're on, and eventually come back to America. Who knows? Maybe Rick saves Daryl and Carol, and then Daryl and Carol help Rick finish his mission, and then they come back to America. Something like that. And this obviously would make sense if we think about the Primrose team. So maybe the CRM wanted to cut ties with the Primrose team and basically make sure they're not a threat anymore in Europe, and that's why they sent Rick. And obviously, when Rick gets there, he probably would want to come back after he finds Daryl, but maybe Daryl tells him about all of this stuff with Janae and the French scientists and all of the variants and all of that, and maybe Rick sees that it's probably best to eliminate the threat, which is the Primrose team. Maybe that's the best way to bring everything together. And then obviously once he's back, that's where we could see Morgan again. Maybe he has returned to the Commonwealth during this time, and this sets up their final reunion. This is still kind of clunky, but honestly, this version could work. Maybe it could work very well if they do it properly. So yeah, overall, I still say don't get your hopes too high, but at least now it's not just talks are happening. Gimple and Lincoln meeting face to face is a legit sign that something is brewing. And if they actually manage to pull off a Book of Rick kind of arc that's meaningful, grounded, and not just fan service, maybe something to do with the Primrose team, then I would give them real credit for that. Anyway, that's where I stand. What do you think though? Would you want to see Rick and Daryl teaming up again, even if it's just a small arc in Europe, or should they just leave it be? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.